What's going on, beautiful people? It's your girl, Linda S. Husser, also known as the Bodacious Lifestyle Coach, and we are continuing on with our interview series for the anthology Boldly Beyond 50, a Black woman's guide to aging with excellence. I am here with Hestella Olden. She is also a phenomenal co-author in the anthology, and I just wanted to give the co-authors an opportunity to not only share, just a teensy weensy bit about their story, why they decided to join the anthology, and also give us their takeaway from not only the experience, but about being an author, especially if this is their first time of being an author. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to you, Hestella Olden. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people, and we will go from there.
Yes, hi, Hestella Olden here. I'm so happy and so proud to be part of this great anthology project.
Okay, so tell me, when did you first hear about it, and what made you want to be a part of this?
Okay, I first heard about it. I just happened to be uh, scrolling through Facebook, and then I saw you popped up. But I met you a little over a year ago at
Yeah.
my little grandson's birthday party. You were one of the guests that showed up, and I talked to you, and you said that you were on Facebook and all that. And so, you told me you were uh, Linda Husser. Uh, I'm sorry.
No, the bodacious lifestyle coach, all of that stuff. Yep, yep,
Yes,
yep.
yes. And so what I did was I didn't let you know, but after the party was over, I went on and I Googled you. I went on Facebook and put your
What?
bodacious life coach in there just to see what you were all about. And I followed you from like last year all the way up until like the end of probably I think I started following you the summer, like April or so of last year. And then
Okay.
it was like the summertime when I heard you start advertising about, if you wanted to be a part of an anthology project. So I'm like, anthology. I'm like, okay, let me kind of research that and see what this anthology stuff is all about. And I said, oh, it says writing a book. And I said, I don't have to worry about writing thousands of pages for my book. I can be part of a bunch of other fabulous women and just have
Yes,
my book a part of the whole book itself.
yes,
So I
yes,
reached
yes,
out to
yes.
you, Linda.
Okay, all right, all right. And like I said, without talking, going in depth about your story, tell us what the title of your chapter is.
Oh, it's from business school to college at last.
Okay. Business school to college at last. Okay, so I have an idea of what your story is about. And like I said, I don't want to go into your story because I want people to be able to experience the fullness of it for themselves. But we're gonna tiptoe around it because that's what I like to do sometimes. What was the best part of you at well, let's go back. The theme of the anthology is flipping the script after 50. That's why it's called Boldly Beyond 50. And so each story is actually a woman sharing how she became bolder after 50. And I wanted to create an anthology series about that because as a life coach, one of the things, it's almost like the unwritten or the unsaid thing is a lot of people really do feel like after 50 dreams
Hmm.
aren't really available to them as they were in their 20s and their 30s and say their 40s. It's almost like 50 is this invisible line, and that once you cross it, it's all, let's keep it real, downhill for a lot of people. And so, with that in mind, I know you did a new thing after 50. And what would you say to women who may be feeling like, wow, time that passed me by, and I'm that's just water under the bridge. What would you say to somebody who may be having that mindset right now?
Well, I would tell them just to think about what it is that you really want to do.
Mhm.
disregard all the butterflies in your stomach. Don't pay any attention to people that says, you're older than 50 now. Whatever project you come up with may not be worth people reading it. So I would say
Mhm.
just go ahead and step out there, make the attempt to fulfill your dream, and just go from there. Even though you're still going to be nervous along the way, don't let that nervousness stop you from
Right.
fulfilling your dream.
Absolutely, absolutely. So do you feel that I'm pretty sure you told me this, but was this your first published book?
Yes, it was my very first one because I had thought for years I've always wanted to like be a publisher, but I kept thinking to myself, what can I publish in a book that will really be beneficial and help somebody out? But it really wasn't until you said, "Okay, think of something that you made come true right up at 50." So I started thinking back. I'm like, wow, I know what I can talk about now.
Yeah.
So probably if you had not told me to think back on what I think of as a success, I probably still would not be a co-author right now.
Wow. Well, imagine that. So this anthology has really made one of your dreams come true to be a published author because this book, the books don't expire like your grandkids and then their kids, and it'd be like, oh, Nana or whatever the grandkids call you. She wrote a story. This is her story. And I believe that's what's really important about anthologies too, because I believe we all should have something published that we can leave behind for
Right.
the next generations to read, if nothing else. And your name is on the cover of the book, your pictures on the back of the book, your pictures on your story. So I mean, this was a phenomenal way for you to be able to tell your story and not have the burden of writing a whole book, because
Right.
it can be a burden. I've written two, and trust and believe it was times and I'm like, you know what, maybe this is not, I'm not supposed to be doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and so with that in mind, how was the process? Did the process of writing the book, once you got writing the story, once you got into it, how did that go? Once we had the different classes and things like that.
Well, I think it went really well because I wrote down all I did bullet points of everything I wanted to talk about. I'm sorry, my step by step for my story. So once I did that and then went back and expounded on each bullet point, and it's like before I knew it, I had all the information I needed to put it in the book to be a part of the book.
Awesome. So, what would you say to anybody who may be thinking like, anthology? I have been struggling writing that whole book, but maybe the anthology is the way to go. What would you say to somebody who's like on the fence, trying to figure out if this is what they want to do, or write the whole book, or something like that?
Well, I would tell them, knowing the fact that there's other ladies that's going to have their stories in your same book, it kind of empowers you to go ahead and make that decision to go ahead and write your book because of the support you have, not only from you, Linda, but from the other ladies that are going to be a part of the anthology.
Yes, 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 yes. So, what would you say was the main takeaway from being a part of this process?
Well, the main takeaway was being able to write my story and
Mhm.
also reading the stories of other ladies. Um, which empowered me a little bit more because I'm listening, I'm reading their stories and everything, and I'm like, wow, they went through this and they overcame that, and this person went through that, they overcame that. So it's like we're all overcoming something. So
Mhm.
when we know that there's other ladies going through something, it kind of just give us a little bit more confidence into to getting our story out there.
Yes, 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 yes. And now that you have gone through the process, and I know you were saying that you wanted to, you had thought about writing a book. Do you feel that your next step will be to write a book, or are you like, well, I don't know about all that. I'm kind of cool with being in an anthology.
No, I've thought about that, and I'm like, well, you know what? I could probably do this on my own. I was
Mhm.
thinking, I'm just going to try to come up with something that I know that would be able to help others, and just go ahead and create and write my own book someday. This is just the
Yes.
beginning.
Yes, awesome. This is just the spark that has lit the fire.
Yes.
Oh my goodness gracious. And so with that in mind, I just want to ask you, as you think about what's next for Hestella in your journey, especially when it comes to the story that you wrote, is this the final chapter, or there's some other different things that you want to do in regards to that is how that is?
I wouldn't say this is the final chapter, no. And I'm
Okay.
kind of like kicking around some ideas on other things that I want to write about. So I'm definitely not going to stop at this one.
Okay, awesome. So how old are you now?
I'm 67.
67. And you know what I love about that? Because I ask you that, and there's some women who would hesitate, but I love that you just came right with it,
Yeah.
right? Because we can own our age. Like, age can definitely be an asset and not a liability. And that's what I wanted to do with Boldly Beyond 50, a Black woman's guide to aging with excellence. So my final question to you will be, how are you aging with excellence?
I'm just taking day by day, learning new things as they come my way, taking it in. If I can apply it in any way, I will. If not, that's something I would just put aside. But never stop learning, never stop listening to people, never stop taking advice, and just taking what I can use and just go with that.
Yes. And okay, so you said that. So what was the last thing that you learned? Because that's another thing that we have to do, is as we get older, we cannot stop learning.
Well, the last thing I learned was not to stop at reaching for your goals. You
Okay.
just have to keep going. Whether if you have the butterflies, because sometimes I have butterflies in my stomach when I think about goals. But what I learned was I can't let the butterflies in my stomach stop me from something I might be wanting to do in the future. I don't know
Yeah.
how long I have to live on this earth, but
Come
however
on.
long I got, I want to go ahead and make good use of the time.
Oh, okay. Well, now see, that's a good way. Whoo, that is a good way to end this, because you said, I don't know how much time I have left, but you are going to make good use out of the time that you do. You're going to squeeze all the juice out of life. We're not leaving no juice
No,
in life. We
no.
we we squeezing all the juice out. So thank you so much for just uh allowing me to be the curator of your story, giving me the opportunity to share your story with the world, because we don't know whose hands these books are going to fall in,
Hmm.
whose story is going to help be the catalyst for someone to change their life, for someone to say, oh my gosh, that's something I wanted to do, and they did it later in life. Because that's what this anthology is all about. It's just to remind people that as long as you're alive, you can thrive. As long as you're breathing, you can be achieving. And do you agree with that?
Oh yes, I do. That's why I made the statement I did. Like I don't know how much longer I got, but whatever I got, the time left, I'm just gonna keep on pushing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again so much for your time and allowing me to allow other people to see your shine.
Yeah, thank you
I
so much,
really-
Linda, for this opportunity. Also, it really means a lot to me.
Oh, bless
Yeah.
you.